If you have fur babies like we do, keeping them safe, comfortable, it's really our job in life. And when we're RVing, it's even more important to make sure they're comfortable and safe. And I thought today what I'd do is show you around our RV ways that we make sure these guys are taken care of both when we're here and when we're not. Welcome back everyone, my name's Patrick and I'm so glad you stopped by today, and this is Truman and this is Bess. They are our Cavalier King Charles Spaniels. Now Truman, he's already 6 years old, and Bess, she's going to turn 6 on September 1st. And we've always had this belief that dates way back to 2017 when we started our channel, when we had our American Cocker Spaniel Delaney, that if Delaney can't go, we don't go. And that same philosophy holds true today. Everywhere we go, Truman and Bess go with us. But when we're traveling in our RV, it's really important that we make sure that these guys are safe and comfortable and having as good a time as Patty and I are when we're RVing. So today what I want to do is just kind of show you what we do to keep these guys safe when we're not here, and comfortable and happy and having a good time even when we are with them here in the RV. For starters, we make sure we have everything that they're going to need right here in the camper, and they even actually have their own shelf in our pantry. Now this bottom shelf is Truman and Bess's shelf, and what we keep in here includes their food, and we only use Fromm's, and no, we're not sponsored by Fromm's. We just have always believed in their food ever since we adopted Truman and Bess, and that's what we use for the bulk of their snacks and all of their food. So we keep their food in here, as well as a lot of treats that, again, we select. We're always looking for high quality treats because we want to keep them safe and healthy. But we also keep things like food dishes in here, an extra water dish, as well as their harnesses, leashes, and even a little bit of clothing. Little Bess, sometimes she likes to dress up and go out on the town, and we just keep this whole shelf for them. The other thing we keep in here is all of their medicines. So that way we always make sure that we're giving them their medicines even when we're camping. I'm not gonna lie, when we bought this trailer back at Memorial Day and we saw this feature in it, I honestly thought we'd never use it. Unbelievably, now we use it a lot. So Alliance has actually built in like a little lazy Susan for the dogs. And so during travel, you can just spin it around, put it out of sight, or if guests come over and you don't want it out. Otherwise though, you spin it around, and what we do is we keep water in here, which Truman and Bess do use, and we also keep a little extra food. Now, very rarely do they eat out of that dish, but it's there just in case they ever get hungry. And we just keep this mat under here because, quite honestly, Truman's a little messy when he drinks water, and it just helps for cleanup. But it's interesting how some features like this that are built in end up being really nice as an RVer, and we're seeing the RV industry start to cater a little bit more to pet owners like us. One thing we learned years ago is in an RV, you need to be organized so that you can easily find things when you need it, and that includes Truman and Bess's leashes. So we always like to keep our leashes right by the door, and we just use this little command hook system that I picked up at Menards. It's actually the same one that we had in our Lance and our last Alliance. I just always bring it with us every time we get a new RV, but I like having our leashes hung up right here. That way, every time we want to take Truman and Bess outside, they're easy to get to. We just grab them, and then when we come back in, we hang them right back up. Now, I should mention that we, several years ago, switched to this, I believe they're called a Martindale type of leash, where it goes on them, but as they try to pull away, it tightens up on them. Doesn't hurt them, but just keeps them from being able to get out of the leash. Because one of the things we found early on with Truman was, well, he was like a little Houdini. He could find ways to slip out of a traditional locking leash. And so, yeah, works really good. We like these. They like them. They're easy to slip on and off. The other thing was Truman always hated that clicking sound of those big plastic hooking devices. So we just keep these here. They're always there. We know where they're at. Now, during travel, we do put these away just so they don't go flying around. We put them in the drawer, but as soon as we get to our location, we hang them right back up, and there they are. Now, Truman and Bess have been crate trained ever since they were little, and quite frankly, they find a kennel or a crate to be like their safe space. In fact, if we were to leave them in here just free to roam, they would actually panic and freak out, probably bark, disturb the neighbors, and honestly just not be comfortable. So we've always carried a crate with us. Now, in the past, we've used one of those metal crates that we could fold up because honestly, RVs don't have a lot of space, and our prior RVs definitely didn't have space, so we would always tear it down during the day and get it back out if we were going to leave. That way they would have a space. But in this particular fifth wheel, we have this space that works perfect for this style of kennel or crate that looks more like furniture. Now, we have one of these in our home. We've had it for years. It just looks nicer and it works really well, and they're used to it. We decided, since this space actually is useless during travel, we would go ahead and get one. It fits in really nice with the decor, and the kiddos love it. So when the slides come in, it basically comes right up. We just use this rug to cover it, and we've had no issues on travel days with this moving around or anything like that. But it's just a really nice crate for them. We bought an extra thick padded bed to put in here. That way they're nice and comfortable. We also have the water dish right here. So throughout the day, if we're gone, they have access to water. And honestly, we usually leave the door open on this because when they get tired or maybe they're anxious about something, they just go in and put themselves to bed. They like it. It's their safe space. Now, speaking of leaving the kiddos alone while we go out, one of the accessories we've added to our last 4 RVs, partially for our convenience, but also for the safety of the kiddos, is right above me, and that is our Max Air Fan Deluxe. Now, I know a lot of RVs are coming with Max Air fans and fantastic fans, but we really like the Max Air Fan Deluxe. And the reason we really like it is for several reasons. Number one, you can have it open during the rain and it won't allow water to get in. And so we really like that feature. We can keep air either coming in or going out during a rainstorm. Number two, we like the fact that it's reversible. We can either have air going out or air coming in. But the third reason we love these, and we always upgrade to one of these in the living room area, is it can be thermostat controlled. So if we're getting ready to go out and leave Truman and Bess alone here in the RV, of course we're going to have the air conditioner running, but we'll always set our Max Air Fan Deluxe to a certain temperature. And if it were to reach that temperature in here, that fan is going to open up and it's going to begin doing either intake or outtake based upon how we set it. That is our backup plan in case the AC ever goes out or the power goes out. This runs off of 12-volt battery, so there's no issues even if the power goes out. And if the temperature here in the living room starts to rise, this is going to open up and at least create some airflow until we get back. Now, you might be wondering, though, how would you know if the power goes out so you could come back? And the way we would know is because of this little device right here, the waggle. Now, we're big fans of the waggle. We've had one of these since I believe around 2021, and this little device right here, what it does is it is connected through a cellular connection. We pay a yearly fee to have this. We bought the device up front, and then we pay this yearly fee to get service. And what it does is it will alert you if the power goes out. You'll notice it's plugged into 110. That way, as soon as power is lost, it senses that, and it will shoot emails and texts to whoever you set it up to. So for instance, Patty and I both get a text when the power goes out. We also get an email. 4 ways to cover us. You can also set it to alert you if the temperature gets too high in the RV or too low. You can set it for things like humidity. I mean, it will send you lots of alerts. Sometimes we have to shut off some of them. Like we usually shut off the humidity alert. We'll definitely run the high temperature, the low temperature, because it's possible that the AC could die, but the power didn't go out and it could get really warm in here. So we'll set this to a temperature where when it gets to that temperature, it'll alert us, and then we'll know, like, hey, the AC was set to 68. This says the RV is 74. We should probably head back and check on the kids. We'll also have that Max Air Fan set to that same 74, so when it reaches 74, that thing's going to turn on, open up, and at least get some airflow until we can get back here for them. So, is the waggle cheap? No, it's not cheap. But to me, it's worth every penny just for the peace of mind. So when we do get ready to leave to maybe go out to dinner or go out exploring, after we potted the puppies, so to make sure they're going to be good for a few hours, we go ahead and bring them back in. Now we use what's known as a kennel treat, or at least that's the term we call it. It's a very special treat that they only get when they're going into their kennel, so it's something for them to look forward to. We use a chicken jerky that we pick up at Costco, and they just know when we get out the chicken jerky, it's time to take a nap in their kennel or crate. We'll go ahead and we'll get that treat out. Truman will always run right in. Bess waits outside. She likes to eat her treat outside, and when she's done eating, then she'll run in. We make sure they have plenty of water in their kennel or crate so that if they get thirsty while we're gone, we don't have to worry about that. We make sure the waggle is set up with the alerts on. We also make sure that the max air fan is set with the thermostat setting and at the right temperature. We set our AC to on high fan. Now the reason we go high is it creates a little bit more noise, and we want to make sure they're not hearing things outside. Typically, most dogs, when they start hearing things outside the RV, that's when they want to join in the fun and start barking. So by having the higher fan speed, not only is it going to help to keep our RV cooler while we're gone, but it's going to create a little bit more ambient noise. We also like to have music on for the kiddos, and so what we've been doing is actually just leaving the TV on to YouTube, and we just find these like soft jazz channels, and we'll turn it on, and those will run for hours, and that will provide a little bit of background noise to also help filter out anything that's going on outside. Once they're in their kennel, we go ahead and close the latch just to keep them in there and secure, and we turn all the lights off except for maybe one. It gives them a little bit of light, but it doesn't make it so bright in here that they can't take the nap that they want. So now we're ready to leave, and we will head out. The other thing is, when we go out, we try not to be gone for hours and hours on end. Ideally, we're gone for no more than 4 hours or less. That way we can come back, let them out, get them some good leg stretching with a walk, hang out, spend time with them, and then maybe we'll head out again later in the evening if we went out that morning. That's how we do it with them. Now you may be wondering, do Truman and Bess sleep in their kennel at night? And the answer is no. They actually sleep with us in the bed. They have since day one. So that kennel or crate is really just like their little safe space during the day. They are welcome to go in anytime they want, and they can leave anytime they want unless we're heading out. And in which case, they would probably wonder why we weren't closing the door if we left and left the door wide open. It's just, they are just so used to it. That's what they want. Do you have dogs? Do you have cats? What pets do you take with you when you go RVing? And how do you go about making them comfortable? I'd love to hear some of your tips down in the comments section. Till next time, everybody, from Truman and Bess and myself, we'll see ya on down the road. Bye.
Travels with the lady, we'll see you on down the road.